Steven, which athlete do you respect but hate the most at the same time?
Mahomes.
Yeah, that was a quick, easy answer.
Yeah, man. That's easy. Yeah, it's Mahomes. I respect the hell out of him because he's a winner and he has just pummeled my Raiders time after time. But now I also can't stand him because he's a Chief. So that's just how it goes, right?
Yeah, no, I mean,
That fair?
no, totally fair. I was asking this question because I wanted to know where Clayton Kershaw ranked amongst the athletes that you hate but respect at the same time.
Clayton Kershaw's up there. He's up there for sure. He's right up there with Mahomes. Pretty much anyone who's a division rival. And Kershaw's one of the few who I do consider like a Dodger. It's weird. I don't hate like Mookie Betts, sports hate. I don't sports hate Mookie Betts. I don't sports hate Shohei Ohtani because they aren't like homegrown Dodgers. They're not
Right.
classic Dodgers to me. They were just acquired via a trade or via free agency, and they just took the money and ran with it. But Clayton Kershaw, he's a Dodger. He bleeds blue. So I can respect him. I think that's actually a really good one. It'd probably be a toss-up with him and Mahomes. I'd put Mahomes 1A and Kershaw 1B.
Okay.
Yeah.
For
'Cause
me,
I don't hate Kershaw as much. Anyway, where are you?
well, no, that seems to be the consensus with Giants fans that while Clayton Kershaw wasn't a hateable guy, just the fact that he dominated the Giants, and prior to yesterday, I think he had a 2.06 ERA in his career against them. Yeah, he dominated them. So you sports hate Clayton Kershaw. I like the way you put it.
Mm-hmm.
There's other Giants you can hate, our Dodgers you can hate that are easily, more easy to hate, like Yasiel Puig or I don't know. You would probably know better than me as far as like Dodgers that are easy to hate. But for me personally, growing up with the Chargers being dominant against the Raiders, it was Phillip Rivers. I could not stand Phillip Rivers. I thought he was smug and arrogant, and I'll never forget him being mic'd up against Rolando McClain and telling him, "You call that a blitz? That's a bad blitz." Put that on tape. And I was like, just the way he was so cocky and would talk shit back to the fans. Like when he was walking off the field with a torn ACL and like waving to the crowd in Indy. I just did not care for Phillip Rivers as far as like just a quarterback that talks too much shit. I didn't like that. Yeah. But I did respect his game, and he beat the Raiders' ass. So I equally hated him, but also respected him at the same time.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, like, I don't know, weigh in 49er fans that are in the chat, but I think that, I don't know, I think Matthew Stafford would probably be one for Niner fans right now. Maybe not lifelong hatred, but certainly there was some. I mean, Russell Wilson had to be up there, right? Where
Definitely.
him, but you got to respect them. Who else? And also on like the Broncos side, I don't know. I guess you could say John Elway. John Elway would be one. Just anyone who's on a division rival who's not that hateable. Like you mentioned Yasiel Puig. I'd think, like guys who are just pure sports hate who I didn't really respect too much. Matt Kemp being one.
Yeah.
Jonathan Broxton, James Loney, Andre Ethier, Rafael Furcal for a little period of time. The guy who they had on the Apple TV broadcast, who actually I immediately said when he hopped on the camera, I was like, oh my God, he looks good. Russell Martin.
Yeah.
Who popped up on Apple TV last night. Yeah, so there's plenty of them.
Go ahead.
Ooh, from the Cowboys. All of them from the Cowboys. We hate them, but we respect them because they were bad. Yeah. Bad dudes. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's basically all the teams that tormented the Raiders in the AFC West. I would say probably Tony Gonzalez, Priest Holmes, LaDainian Tomlinson's up there, Sean Merriman just doing his stupid sack celebration after sacking Aaron Brooks. It felt like 9 times in the Week 1 game against the Chargers in 2006.
Lorenzo Neal.
Yeah, Lorenzo Neal. Definitely blocking for LaDainian Tomlinson. Son of a bitch. No, we love you, Lo. Yeah, Broncos. Like, I mean, for me, it's like, I really didn't hate anybody on the Broncos. Like, I was so young. I didn't hate John Elway. I didn't hate Terrell Davis. I didn't hate Champ Bailey really either. Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp would just talk so much shit. So, yeah, probably Shannon Sharp. Uh, but the reason I bring this up is because Clayton Kershaw, of course, had his last regular season game at Dodger Stadium last night. He's going to retire the season. Probably his last game against the Giants. At this point, the Giants are not making the postseason. So I have my perspective. I want to get your perspective. I think that probably stat-wise, he is the best regular season pitcher of all time. You could say Randy Johnson. You could say Roger Clemens. But in my lifetime, he was so dominant and one of the rare guys to get an NL MVP as a pitcher. So you are a bigger baseball fan than me, Steven. Just I know he's a Dodger, but your thoughts on Clayton Kershaw retiring?
Yeah, well, as far as like where he stands among the greatest of all time, in as far as this generation, I mean, he came up and was a rookie. I remember when I was, I think, a sophomore in high school, and me and my, I think he was my history teacher at the time. He ended up being my sports psychology teacher, where I still keep in touch with. But I remember we were like talking like fantasy baseball. I always try to be hip, talking fantasy with teachers, being cool. And
That's so cool.
One guy he said was, keep it on Clayton Kershaw. He's like, Clayton Kershaw is the next guy up. And that was, when I was finally cognizant of what good baseball was. But I'd throw Justin Verlander as well. You're seeing two of the all-time greats, not even just in the regular season, but also what he's done in the World Series and winning titles. Yeah, he's up there. And he's been such a thorn in the Giants' side over the years. And I was listening to you and Copes. I don't know if it was, I actually listened to you a little bit this week. I don't know if it was yesterday when you were at Jack's. I think it was yesterday when you were at Jack's.
You mean when Copes was 7 shots deep?
Yes. And
good Lord.
And he did bring up, though, that he was kind of not pissed off, but just a little aggravated that he didn't announce this sooner, so the Giants couldn't get him like one more chance to say goodbye. I kind of agreed with that.
Yeah.
But also that's not who he is. Like that's the thing. He's such a likable guy who's done it the right way, who's stuck with his own team, has never seemingly caused any problems. I don't know what there is really to dislike about the guy. Kind of sad that he didn't do like a full retirement tour, but that also like speaks to who he is. I think it was all very calculated. I don't think they made the decision saying like, yeah, this is going to be my last one here. Let's announce it right now. Like they didn't make this decision before the Giants series. You could tell during the All-Star game that it was probably his last time there. So
that's what I thought. I mean, with the Ranford rule of pretty much him selecting a player for the All-Star game, I thought this must mean something. Why Clayton Kershaw right now? Maybe because he's a Dodger and he's a big player, but why not just a Verlander? So yeah, I was kind of thinking that it was going to trend in this direction. And you know what? I don't care for the retirement tour thing. I know that Derek Jeter did it his final season, and me personally, I thought it was kind of lame. And Derek Jeter is a great player, and I understand that a lot of people wanted to celebrate him and give him gifts. But honestly, like I remember him coming to Oakland and everybody cheering for him, and I'm like, nah, fuck Derek Jeter. I remember him in the 2000 playoff series, the 2001 playoff series, kicking our ass. And I've grown up since then, so maybe it's the right thing to do to celebrate great players like that. I do wonder, though, Steven, if they announced with Clayton Kershaw his retirement prior to his last game in Oracle Park, how do you think Giants fans would have received him? Do you think they would have given him a standing ovation, or do you think they just been like, nah, fuck you?
Any real ones would have. Real ones would have. Like, if you're a Giants fan, you could appreciate what he's done over the years. Like, it's, at the end of the day, it's just sports. We tend to do this where we're almost like defined by it, that it's like our lifeblood, and that.
Yeah, but hold on. You will admit, though, that Giants Dodgers is a different animal.
Sure, it is. But even in that rivalry, like, I think that he's done enough to where they would warrant his respect. Like, if, I don't know, by the time Shohei Ohtani's done with his contract, if he sticks with the Dodgers for the next 8 seasons or whatever is remaining in his 10-year deal, then I'm sure Giants fans are going to give him a round of applause. Didn't they do the same to I don't think they've done the same to Freddie Freeman, but there's like people, if you go to a Giants Dodgers game, you'll find there are certain guys who they don't necessarily boo. The biggest one is Max Muncy. Like if Max Muncy were to get a little highlight video with montage saying goodbye, like, no, I don't think he'd get like a standing O.
No.
I think that Kershaw would, for sure.
As he should. I just understand that some Giants, like last night, the Giants posted a tweet congratulating Clayton Kershaw on his career, and a lot of people were like, what the fuck is this shit? Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
But true fans would be like, you got to tip your cap. Like I think Rockadoo Era says it best here. I tip my cap to Kershaw and then flip him off. And I think that's fair. I think that's totally fair.
Yeah.
Just your opinion, man. Stephen Langford, Derek Papa, we're coming to you on a Saturday morning, and I am live from Casa de Greg. I'm taking care of him this weekend as he's, been on the air and, still dealing with cancer, and we got a long road ahead, but glad my pops is on the air again. But yeah, hanging out with him this weekend. And we'll talk about the Buffalo Bills being the Miami Dolphins 31-21 on Thursday Night Football. Talk a little bit about the Raiders and I guess load management when it comes to Ashton Jeanty. I think that's a weird term that Chip Kelly used. Mac Jones sounds like he's getting the start again for the 49ers this weekend. We'll go through all of the Week 3 slate with our picks. And, of course, we'll do the usual on Saturdays with our Jackass of the Week and Pop Culture Catch-Up. But let's start with Thursday Night Football, Steven. Not really a surprise. The Buffalo Bills win 31-21. And I think that Josh Allen is playing on a different level right now, like almost Brett Favre-like with the flip play he had to Jackson Hawks. Or whatever his name is, Hayes, whatever the tight end's name is, the third string tight end, the Buffalo Bills. We just does a shovel pass to him.
Yep.
And not a lot.
Real quick, I do wish he did that on Sunday Night Football, so we could hear Chris Collinsworth in the background.
Oh, there's Josh.
Oh, there you go. I mean, what more can you say about this guy?
Yeah, where more Al Michaels is like, oh, look at that right there. Al's been a legend in this business, but he's kind of mailing it in these days. Either way,
he literally said he's doing.
I know.
Did anyone? I don't know if anyone like on 95.7 or KMBR caught it, but you caught the little jab that he took at the Giants, right?
The San Francisco Giants? No.
Yeah. He was on the Thursday night game, and he's talking about his career just in general, and he said something along the lines of, I just did this job for the money. Kind of like I did with the Giants. And if you go back and if kind of look what he did in the mid-70s, he did work for the Giants.
Yes, he did.
Season. And he literally just took a little tiny jab there and just moved on. He is in his IDGAF era. He don't give any fucks about what he says anymore.
And you know what? More power to him because he has that power. And he doesn't give a fuck if he's used for AI during the Olympics as well, if you remember that a year ago.
Oh, yeah.
It was a year ago. People do say, though, he was great on baseball. And he was great during the earthquake of 1989 with the A's and Giants of the World Series.
He's absolutely everything that he's done. There's no questioning what he has done in his career because he's done more than – I think he's as accomplished as any that is still on the air right now.
Right.
But I think that also speaks to that the others who were as accomplished as him have kind of moved on and said, all right, I'm going to go to retirement now. But he says, no, I am going to call these touchdowns with the enthusiasm of a utensil.
And speaking of utensils, I don't use them for vegetables, claims Al Michaels. I still call bullshit on that. As far as the game, the Bills, it wasn't their best performance of the season so far. It's on a short week, and they're playing the Miami Dolphins that have a lot to prove, and definitely don't want to go 0-3, but they did. And Tua played fine. He had that really bad interception at the end when he was pressured in his face and threw it right to the linebacker. Tyron Bernard, I think his name is, the linebacker number 8. But the air yards, I mean, the stat line for a while in this game was Jalen Waddle had 2 catches for 0 yards. And not a lot to say from Tua. He wasn't throwing it down the field, and when he was, Tyreek Hill was just dropping them. But the Bills' defense didn't apply a lot of pressure. They didn't get turnovers except for the one at the very end with the interception. They really got bailed out with that block or that roughing the punter call on Siegler, the defensive tackle for the Dolphins. So in the end, the Bills win. Dolphins cover. but Bills win by 10. The over hit. So me and Steven are tied at 1 apiece for their Thursday night picks. But what's your overall thoughts of this game, Steven, as we dive into the Buffalo Bills as maybe the best AFC team right now?
Yeah, I think I think that's obvious. I think the Bills are far and away the best team in the AFC. I think it's right now, there's a lot of question marks. And you're saying in the AFC, right?
Yes, I think
Yeah.
that I would say maybe not far and away, just quickly to go into that. Though, they easily could have lost to the Baltimore Ravens week 1. I think the Chargers are pretty impressive so far, but we'll see what happens. I'm just hoping that when I ask this question, are the Bills the best team in the AFC? I hope so, because I want them for a change to have home field advantage through the postseason. Basically, I want them to finally take that next step, along with the Baltimore Ravens, of being the best teams in the AFC, and the Kansas City Chiefs are not that team anymore. They're 3rd or 4th or maybe even 5th right now, even if we'll see if they win the AFC West. But just because the Chiefs are 0-2, I'm not counting them out. But right now, I have to say that the Bills, by a small margin, are the best team in the AFC.
Yeah, just by any other teams that are 2-0, you'd probably take them over the Chargers and you'd take them over the Colts. But I thought this game was interesting from a Dolphins perspective, when all things, it seems like, are pointing towards Mike McDaniel getting fired. Hell, even, I don't know, getting the number 1 overall pick, potentially having to move off of Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, they hung into this game. It was just one miscommunication that kind of screwed everything up.
Yeah.
And I think the other issue, excuse me, that we're not really talking about too much is the fact that the Dolphins defense is just terrible.
Yeah.
They might get to the quarterback every now and then. I think we saw Bradley Chubb get to Josh Allen at one point in this game, but they're giving up 31 points, and it didn't even feel like the Bills. It felt like a very light 31, if that makes any sense.
No, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, like it's the fact that it was tied at 21 going into the 4th, and it looked like the Dolphins were hanging in there, and it just took one turnover, and you need the defense to maybe come up and get a stop just so you could do anything, and they couldn't. They ended up leading to a field goal or whatever. I don't know. I think there's all sorts of problems with the Dolphins. I think they've kind of saved Mike McDaniel's job for maybe one more week, but they've just got all sorts of problems right now. Yeah, I was focused more on like the Dolphins and the aftermath of that rather than the Bills. I think this is like one that's an automatic W,
Yeah, I think that the Dolphins are pretty bad, and I think that I'm right there with you defensively. They have pass rushers at Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips. They drafted Chop Robinson, and they got that defensive tackle Kenneth Grant now from Michigan. But their secondary is putrid, even with Minkah Fitzpatrick coming back. Mm-hmm. They've given up 33 points week 1, 33 points week 2, 31 points on Thursday. And, yeah, I mean, defensively, they're just awful. Offensively, I don't think Tua's really improved by any means. We'll see how much longer Tyreek Hill is, willing to be a Dolphin, if he's going to, throw these temper tantrums on the sideline and kind of show up Tua when the ball is not delivered accurately. But also, Tyreek is not really the same Tyreek. He had a ball that he definitely could have caught in the open field and just dropped it. But yeah, I mean, also that report that came out, I think during the game or before the game.
Yeah, I was where to play that.
Did you have it? Yeah, on the future of Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. This was the one I was like,
go ahead and play this, because this was very interesting in the middle of a tightly contested game.
The NFL is investigating accusations of domestic violence against Tyreek Hill and filings made earlier this month related to his divorce. Hill's ex-wife alleges he was violent with her on 8 separate occasions dating back to January 2024. He's denied this and has not been charged criminally. In 2015, Hill pleaded guilty to domestic violence charges stemming from his time at Oklahoma State.
Thank you. He's no stranger to off-the-field stuff.
All right, Al.
Wow. That's putting it lightly.
Yeah. So what happened? Like, did they have this in their pre-production meeting where they're like, okay, we got this on Tyreek, we should probably make this some form of a sideline report during the game? And what, did they just forget about it and said, okay, let's squeeze this in here, we got a little time?
I don't know. And I mean, you and I have talked about this with Deshaun Watson, where do you bring this up during a
Right.
broadcast when he's the quarterback? Do you need to? Do people already know the situation? Does it need to be mentioned during an NFL game? I thought it was very odd out of nowhere to just have that report on Tyreek Hill. And is it the duty of the sideline reporter or the broadcast team to bring this up? No. You could mention it. I think Al Michaels could have easily just said, there's a lot going on with Tyreek Hill right now, allegations of domestic assault by his ex-wife, and that's all that needs to be said. I thought it was very odd to do a sideline report. Maybe the sideline reporter felt compelled that she needed to say this, but
Yeah.
I thought it was odd. I thought it was, even though I'm not a Tyreek Hill guy by any means, I thought it was very odd just to do that randomly during the fourth quarter of a game. You could do that in a pregame show.
And it's also like not a report that can be done in 30 seconds. This isn't, hey, Tyreek Hill is questionable with a knee injury. Mike McDaniel says we're hoping to get him back soon. Back to you.
Exactly.
Like you need a little more time to discuss the context with this, because it's not like this was recently filed. Like these were just this was part of the divorce case that just so happened to be uncovered. And there's just so much that goes into it. I did think it was like, even though I'm not obviously not condoning what Tyreek's done, and I think that he's just been in some hot water for a really long time and somehow getting out of that hot water, but it felt just almost unethical to do that.
Yeah.
Whoa, out of nowhere. Hey,
Yeah.
28-21. Let's talk about this guy's let's just talk about this guy's quote unquote off the field issues.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was kind of misplaced. I didn't know why they needed to do it in that moment. The Bills just scored. Tyreek Hill, like it wasn't even him like coming off of a huge play. It was just like, let's squeeze this in here, as you said, Steven. So yeah, I think that was bad judgment, probably on the producer's point, on the producer's side, where probably shouldn't mention that. If anything, that should be something that Carissa Thompson brings up, or I think Taylor Rooks is part of the broadcast too, where they can bring that up in a pregame kind of segment.
Right.
But I don't think in the middle of a game that needs to be said.
So what were you going to bring up, Derek?
I was going to bring up the report that I think Tom Pelissero had, or Ian Rappaport, because he's part of the Thursday night kind of insider stuff now, where the report was basically Stephen Ross, the owner of the Dolphins, doesn't want to fire Mike McDaniel, but he will if they lose enough games or he feels enough pressure from, outside noise, fans, whatever, media. He'll also do it if he hears enough from the locker room that they really don't trust him as a leader of men. Their words, Stephen, not mine. That's just such a, no shit report. Like, of course he doesn't want to fire Mike McDaniel. His intention was that this guy was supposed to be the next Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan. But it's not going that way. They're losing games. They're 0-3. And we talked about it last time, when he's humming and hawing in these press conferences and not really saying anything, just saying like you can't, win games if you lose games. The NFL, sounding like Trent Dilfer 10 years ago, if you remember that drop. I think that Mike McDaniel is definitely on the hot seat, and they have a Monday night game coming up against the Jets. If they go to 0-4 against the New York Jets, Mike McDaniel probably will be fired. I doubt they lose that game, but I think that we're on a week-to-week basis at this point now with when Mike McDaniel could be fired.
When Tyrod Taylor starts for the Jets. Never know.
Exactly. Yes. And as far as the Buffalo Bills, I think that their goal should be to be the number one seed of the AFC. They beat the Baltimore Ravens week 1, so if they have a tiebreaker, they'll have the tiebreaker in that scenario, a leg up on them. And they'll play the Kansas City Chiefs in the regular season. But now with the Chiefs being 0-2, they need to stack wins. They need to host that playoff game at Ralph Wilson Stadium when it's all said and done for the Buffalo Bills. And I just think that they're playing at a different level now because they finally established that running game where Isaiah Pacheco is not doing anything for the Kansas City Chiefs. and they got Kareem Hunt and all these other running backs, and they're not doing a damn thing. Where I think Patrick Mahomes the last 2 weeks has been their leading rusher. They're not going to have any success without Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice, and Patrick Mahomes is their leading rusher. They need to establish a ground game, as well as the Raiders. We'll talk about that later. But, yeah, I think that the Bills right now are leaps and bounds better than the Chiefs. Maybe not defensively. I think the Chiefs are still pretty sound, but offensively, they're humming. And it shows you what how much of a change Joe Brady could have as the offensive play caller. But, yeah, I think that right now it's pretty close between them and the Baltimore Ravens, but I definitely would say the Bills are the best team in the AFC. But defensively, they got to clean it up a little bit. Just on a short week against the Dolphins, didn't look fantastic.
They were also missing like a couple of players.
Yeah.
Ed Oliver and Matt Milano weren't in. Two pretty key guys.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
One thing about watching the Bills that's interesting is watching Joey Bosa. That dude has so much fun. Like, on the Chargers, you'd see, the situation after that loss to the Jags, or you'd see the, I don't know. I mean, that video, this doesn't really count, but that video of him at Lincoln Financial where he was agitated by some Eagles fans who were heckling him. Right now, like, you're just seeing this guy. He's in on third down. He's just kind of a pass rushing specialist. And any time that he's in for a minimal amount of snaps. But if you're talking like the percentage of pressures, the pressure rate, I think his is as high as anyone's. Of course, you have to qualify certain defensive linemen. Like, you have to have this many pass rushes if you want to qualify among those who actually start. But if you're talking about third down specialists, I don't think anyone is getting to the quarterback as much as he is. He is enjoying himself. And it's actually, you could tell whenever they go to the Bills sideline, just look out for Joey Bosa and see the smile on his face. Like, oh my God, I'm on this team that's well put together. Like, it's crazy.
And I didn't realize how big of a schnoz he has when Josh Allen was asked about his broken nose this week. And everybody was like, you're getting crap from your teammates. And he's like, yeah, they say I look like another guy on the team right now. And then they're like, who is it? And Josh is like, they say I'm the third Bosa brother with his schnoz. I think Joey has a big schnoz. Nick has a normal sized nose.
You've never noticed that about Joey?
Not until recently, until they mentioned it. I was like, wow, yeah, he does have a schnoz.
Yeah. I mean, he's been in the league for years. This is like that person who posted on the NFL memes page. They're like, mind blowing. And then they had like the head exploding emoji.
Yeah.
And they go to Thursday Night Football. If you go down here and you go to the alternate broadcast, it gives you the all 22 from the end zone.
Where you been, buddy?
God. It's like, it's been there. It's been there for 2 years. Should have listened to Just Your Opinion, man, dude.
Yeah, exactly. And just like how you don't really notice a man's shoes in Shawshank Redemption, I don't really notice a man's nose. So I didn't really notice Joey Bosa has a schnoz. Can you play real quick Mike Greenberg, though? Because this is ridiculous. Like, Josh Allen is playing really well, but God, it's just too much sometimes on TV these days, man, where some people just say shit for the sake of like going viral. This is insane. This is Mike Greenberg the morning after the Bills beat the Dolphins.
I was going to say, I'm mad at myself that we spent 9 minutes and 17 seconds and I didn't say this yet. I'm watching the game last night. I'm thinking I've been watching this sport 50 years. And I'm just a fan. I'm just a reporter, whatever the case is. No one has ever played that position better than Josh Allen plays it. He's not the greatest player ever.
Bart.
No, you tell me who has played that position better than he plays it.
Lamar Jackson and Justin Herbert right now is cooking. What are we talking about, Greeny? It's so early.
He's better than them. I'm saying you can't be better than Josh Allen. Josh Allen does everything. His command of what he's doing in the game right now is ridiculous. He just hasn't won anything. If he had won anything, we'd be talking about him with literally the best quarterbacks that ever played.
Greeny, I totally agree. If you go back to the start of the 2024 season, you want to talk about offensive efficiency.
Okay.
Third over.
I mean, I agree with him that he probably will be mentioned amongst the greats, but it's so hyperbolic to be like, he's played the position better than anybody I've ever seen in my lifetime. Really? I mean, Josh is playing great, but there's quarterbacks that have played better football, and I don't know. I think that's just a ridiculous thing to say. He's playing very well right now, but like, you can't diminish what's gone on in the past, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s. You're not going to say that Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, despite Ryan Clark saying they're not generational talents. You're not going to say that they were playing the position better than anybody we've ever seen before. To throw Josh Allen in there, he's playing amazing. He's just a different brand of football now where quarterbacks are so athletic that it really is like John Elway, where he was such an anomaly back in the 80s. His athleticism basically put him apart from everybody else. Dan Marino was different. But, yeah, it's Patrick Mahomes, it's Josh Allen, it's Lamar Jackson, guys that are able to do it through the ground or through the air, with their arm ability and with their legs. There's the ability of, being so mobile. But to say that he's played the position better than anybody in the history of football, that is just so ridiculous to say.
It's a little much. And I thought, you can make the argument at times that Matt Stafford has played the position better than Josh Allen has. I know, if you're talking talent, Aaron Rodgers, do we forget about Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady saying he is the best thrower of the football that he thinks he's ever seen? That's Tom Brady saying that.
Yep.
What's the definition there? That's the problem with these shows. It's like, hey, let's get into these offensive efficiency numbers. Okay, what does he do that is better than anyone in the history of the game? Please enlighten me. And Ernie said it there, right? I was going to mention this name next. Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
We were talking about Patrick Mahomes in this way, and that actually had some merit to it, I thought. He is doing things that we haven't really seen before. We have the IQ that he's playing with, the amount that he's winning. You can't say that he's playing the quarterback position better than anyone ever has. I don't get that.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that it's more with Mahomes that he was doing, the comparison we had with Patrick Mahomes when he was the starter for the Kansas City Chiefs in 2018. I remember Mitch Holtis saying this with my pops on the radio show. He compared him to Steph Curry, not any current quarterback right now. Compared him to Steph Curry, and it's something we've never seen before, where Patrick Mahomes has this schoolyard mentality on the football field where he'll just throw a ball up in the air and it's caught for however that running back knew what to do in that situation right there is insane. That Patrick Mahomes just throws the ball up in the air. As many times, or as cool as it was to see Josh Allen do that shuffle pass on the goal line to that tight end, I've seen Patrick Mahomes do that a million times. Not a million times. I'm exaggerating, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, Josh Allen's playing by far better than any quarterback right now in the NFL. But to say he's playing the position better than anybody in the history of the NFL is just way too much for that early of a morning show. I'm sorry, that's just Mike Greenberg just trying to have that clip go viral, go on Twitter and have clicks. I'm glad that Bart Scott put him in his place there and just been that's ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
But I think football is so nuanced now that when it comes to quarterbacks or running backs, there's actually data that can back this up. But when quarterbacks or running backs might go to a different team, have a different system, a new offensive coordinator, things change.
Yeah.
They can change drastically. When it comes to wide receivers, it seems they can kind of translate to a lot of systems more than you can't just put any offensive coordinator with Josh Allen, put him in any system and he would flourish. There are some where he probably wouldn't. I'm not going to act like I know which ones those are, but he probably wouldn't. I don't know. Lamar Jackson seems to have flourished even with different offensive coordinators at the helm. I think when you're talking about quarterbacks in general, I really think you got to lump in the offensive coordinators with them. If we're going to put Saquon Barkley among the best running backs in the NFL, you'd have to say, yeah, Saquon Barkley along with that Eagles team. Yeah, you'd probably put Saquon on that specific Eagles team maybe as one of the best ever. But are you going to say that Saquon with the Giants is one of the best running backs ever? He's really good, but he wasn't putting up historic numbers. Emmitt Smith with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
LT with the Chargers. We've seen things change. We've seen guys get older. I don't know. I just think I think we owe too much to the individual rather than the entire team when so much has been proven now that it is about the individual, but it's more so about the team too. I think you got to attach that.
Of course. I think that Saquon is running behind one of the best offensive lines we've ever seen in the history of football. And that's not hyperbolic. It's just fact with their ability to run this play, the tush push, over and over and over again. And by the way, just to go off on a tangent real quick, why is everybody now, after last week's game, being like, well, now we understand why the NFL hates the tush push. Now it should be outlawed because Dean Blandino in the middle of the game is like, I'm so over the tush push. Now all these national talking heads are like, okay, I understand. Let's outlaw the tush push now. Why? Just because they beat the Chiefs? They've been doing this for years. Why now is it like during a regular season game that it's like, okay, we've had enough. The tush push next offseason should be outlawed. I thought that was ridiculous this week.
Yeah. Well, this was the first time where we've really seen this is the first time where we've really seen the officiating come into play and the penalties where they admitted after the game, like, hey, we missed at least one that could have been called. And we saw it in slow-mo with the false starts. So I think that's what's changed. And I don't know, like, what was the rate at which they were running it before?
Pretty high, but
I mean, did they run 7 in one game before?
Probably not, but that was I love that mic'd up. I'm sure you did too, with Chris Jones screaming on the sideline. They ran the same fucking play 7 times in a row.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I think you got to work your way around it. I still believe that, even though I'm kind of course, I understand the outrage to it, but the Eagles have figured it out, man. Like, find a way to stop it, find a way to beat it, because they've gotten a leg up, and that's what you want to do, right? Anyone who's in any industry, if you want to evolve, you want to find the next best thing, right? Yeah. We're in sports media, right? We're in radio. Do we expect that we can treat this like this is the 80s and, you know, that radio is just going to be around for a really long time and we're pretty good where we're at? Probably not.
No,
right?
no. Case in point, why I'm on the radio now, Steven.
Like 10 to 20 years from now, who knows what the state of media is going to be in general. I mean, maybe not 10 might be a little too soon, but in 20 to 30, like, you got to figure out the next step. And everyone in football is trying to get a leg up on the competition. And the Eagles have managed to get one gigantic leap ahead of everyone with this one specific play, and there's no defensive coordinator who could stop it. And the only thing that's going to happen is that these teams are going to complain to the league. Maybe the refs are going to get on their side too, and they're going to try to vote this thing out. And I think we're going to see this year after year until it gets banned. Like, that's the sad reality of it.
I wouldn't be surprised if it does get banned, but yeah, I think that it's just a bunch of people bitching and complaining about it when you really should just invest in the offensive line. Invest in a center that has the ability of a Jason Kelsey or a Cam Jurgens right now to run this play. If you hate it so much, beat it. And the 49ers were able to beat it a couple years ago when they beat the Eagles 42-19. There's ways to beat the tush push, but getting off of that tangent, yeah, to your point, Steven, we need to incorporate other people when we're talking about great players. Like Saquon Barkley has a great offensive line with him. Yeah. Josh Allen has improved as a quarterback because he has Joe Brady now. And I'm sure Joe Brady will be a head coach come next offseason. But let's not forget, I know that Mike Greenberg says that it's the best quarterback he's ever seen in the history of the NFL. Josh Allen was playing really well, but also just a turnover machine when Ken Dorsey was the offensive play caller. And now that they have a running game, he's totally changed the way he plays football. So, you know, it's a little of both. It's the offensive coordinator helping out a great player just being a great player from the get-go. But, yeah, to say that he's the best quarterback of all time, I think that's ridiculous. And Josh Allen needs to win a Super Bowl in order to have that title at any standpoint.
Derek, so I want to bring this up with one of the great quarterbacks of this generation. And I didn't bring this up in the last podcast. I should have, but now I actually got like another little tidbit to kind of back it up. I'm going to just say, listen, with Joe Burrow, if he wants to retire, I wouldn't be mad at him. And I'm just saying this.
Whoa, hold on. You want him to go the Andrew Luck route already?
I don't want him to. I'm saying if he wants to, I'm not going to treat it the same way that a lot of people did with Andrew Luck, vitriol, where they booed him in Indianapolis just because he wasn't coming back. Like, I'm just saying, if he wants to do this, I don't think we have the grounds to blame him for it, because there are two things that caught my eye. Number one, I don't know if this is true. I'm sure it is because it has to do with statistics and anyone can look it up to deflect it. And I haven't seen anyone. But when it comes to Andrew Luck, 86 career games, 174 times he was sacked. Joe Burrow, 71 career games, 201 times he was
Yikes.
sacked, which is a crazy rate. And then this other thing popped up on Reddit the other day where someone did a study of turf toe injuries. The Orthopedic Journal at Harvard Medical School found that 25 NFL players whose turf toe injuries required surgery, none returned to play the same season, while 5 never returned at all and had to retire. So
Wow.
depending on how things go, I'm saying I'm getting on this early. I don't think Joe Burrow's the type of dude who will. Like, I think Joe Burrow's going to try to come back. I genuinely do.
Yep.
But if he decides, hey, man, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm getting hurt every year. I'm putting myself in line to become a 3-time comeback player of the year. No one wants to win that. Like, I want to win a Super Bowl. I want to get there, but I'm getting crushed. And I wonder if there's going to be any time where he thinks, man, this is not worth it in this short term here for what's going to happen potentially in the long term. I wonder that. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't think he will, but if he has those thoughts, because there's going to be a lot of thinking, going to be doing a lot of thinking over these next few months. I'm just saying, if he wants to stop playing football, I would not blame him entirely. I'd blame the Bengals organization for not doing him right, at least in the offensive line in terms of protection.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. If he decides to retire, that's his own deal, and we should respect that. The same way that I thought it was completely disrespectful of the Colts fans to boo Andrew Luck off the field when that preseason game was going on. And the next day he had to do the press conference and cry, and just talking to the guy now on a weekly basis, he is really at peace with everything. He is so locked in on Stanford football that he does not miss playing quarterback whatsoever. I think that Joe Burrow is a totally different dude, though, where if you watch the quarterback show, he is all about football. And he's a smart guy, but Andrew Luck was interested in things more than football. He wanted to be an architect, and his dad was a commissioner with the XFL. He was interested in other things in life.
Oliver
Luck, yeah. So, while it was shocking that Andrew Luck retired, it didn't surprise me.
Yeah.
With Joe Burrow, he's just been all ball. Like, he doesn't, I think he's kind of a psychopath where he's kind of like, he's young, but he's kind of childish where he doesn't do his own laundry. He has his mom do it for him. He's just focused on football. That's all he cares about is buying the Batmobile and other, Star Wars shit and being the quarterback of the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, what's different about Joe Burrow than Andrew Luck never called out his team, never called out the organization, wasn't going to call out Ryan Grigson to say, what the fuck are we doing drafting all of these offensive linemen, where Joe Burrow will do that. He's called out the organization already saying, why aren't we paying Jamar Chase? Why aren't we paying T. Higgins? Why aren't we paying Trey Hendrickson? I'm pretty sure this offseason Joe Burrow should say, I've been knocked down my ass too many times now. You need to fucking draft me some offensive linemen. So I think that that's the difference where Joe Burrow is the product of the Cincinnati Bengals. So he's the only person that could go to Mike Brown and put his nuts on the table and say, dude, if you want me to still be your quarterback and not retire, protect me. Protect me, please. So that's where I think I hear you. It's a great argument as far as the comparison to Andrew Luck. I don't see it happening, though.
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm not saying it's going to happen. It's not really like much of an argument. I'm just kind of throwing it out there this early. I'm getting in front of it, Derek.
As you should. I mean, I know a lot of people have compared Andrew Luck to Joe Burrow since the injury. And I asked Andrew Luck about it, and he was like, you do the voice better than me, but it's I asked him, like, what's that like to be, have multiple seasons where you're sitting on the sideline? And he's just like, it's difficult. I mean, like, every quarterback goes through it, but you're basically a cheerleader. You don't really feel like you're involved with the team. And then after a while, you're like, is this fun anymore? That's why in 2019, where he had that calf injury, it was a ticking time bomb. He probably was going to have an Achilles tear. Yeah. And that's why he retired, because there's the pain and anguish of an offseason, missing more football and having to rehab is such a pain in the ass that it's just not worth it after a while. But I don't see that happening for Joe Burrow anytime soon.
Yeah.
All right, let's move over to the Raiders, and they're going to play the Commanders, the Commies, the Manders, this weekend. And no Jaden Daniels. It's going to be old Raider quarterback Marcus Mariota against them. But I do want to talk about I guess, the perception that Ashton Jeanty is not being used a lot. And I've seen a lot of national talking heads talk about this. Rich Eisen was on his show, and I think he was just doing from a fantasy perspective of how he's getting screwed because Ashton Jeanty's not getting enough carries. Can we play just a little bit of Chip Kelly and his rationale for why he's not running a lot with Ashton Jeanty? He compares it to load management in the NBA, and I just think that this is just kind of I don't know, just word vomiting. He's just giving a reason why he's not playing Ashton Jeanty when there actually is more of a concrete reason.
In the game, from a run standpoint, I think what people have to realize is we were down 17-6 at half. Our first drive of the second half was a 20-play drive, and we came away with 3 because we had a penalty in the red zone. But then after that, we were in 2-minute mode, so we didn't run the ball as much as we did the week before. The week before, we were up, so we ran the ball more. So usually when you're up in the second half, you're running the ball more because you're running clock. If you're down, you're throwing the ball more. So when you look at, the run-pass breakdowns by game, it's really what is the situation that presents itself. There's a role for all of those guys, and I think you have to look that it's not just a one-game season, it's a 17-game season. So, your ability to keep everybody fresh, you're thinking short-term because you're playing games, but you're also thinking, long-term. You have 3 running backs up on game day, and so you got to be able to kind of distribute that. I think we felt as a staff, Ashton played 54 snaps the week before, and that was a little heavy. So how do we use that? And Dylan's done a great job. Dylan's great in protection. Dylan does a great job as a receiver coming out of the backfield. So he handled the 2-minute for us. And then Zeus handled some of the third down stuff for us, just so you're trying to spread those carries out, or really not those carries out, because it doesn't matter if it's a run or a pass, but you're trying to spread out the amount of snaps in a game. If you have 3 running backs up and one guy's playing 55 and another guy's playing 3 and another guy's playing 2, over the course of the season, that guy's going to get worn down. And by the time you get where's our back? Well, we ran him out by game 8. So, I think you have to look long term. Last year, actually, when at Ohio State, we had 2 great backs, Travion Henderson and Quinshon Junkins, and both of them ended up rushing in a 16-game season because we played in the playoffs through. They were both 1,000-yard rushers, but neither of them ever had 20 carries in a game. Over the course of the season, we knew from the beginning of the season to the end of the season that we need to protect these guys. And that if you could have seriously said, hey, let's give it to Travion 30 times in this game, and he would have had a hell of a game and done some other things. But what are the long-term effects of that too? So I think you kind of have your eye on the game that you're in right then. And we have total confidence in both Zeus and Dylan when they get in a game that they're going to do things with the ball. And they both did good things when they get their opportunities to. And
wow. Okay, I mean, I know we got a little more to play, but this is just...
Yeah, I know. Just a word salad.
This is a word salad with some chip-zone dressing. Here we go.
I think it comes up all the time. You would love for Brock Bowers to play every play. You would love for Ashton Jeanty to play every play. But if you play Brock and Ashton or any of those guys every play in every game, by the time you get to game 8, you're not going to have guys left, because there's a certain amount of plays, In basketball, it's called load management. It's not, we're not sitting out games here, but I think you have to be conscious of over the course of 17 games. If some guy's carrying the ball 30 times a game, they only have so many carries in a season. And I mean, if you're going to waste them, not waste them, but if you're using them early, then it's going to hurt you late. So there tries to be a balance. And when you
okay.
Okay. We got it. And great callback from Rocket New Era here from the Haberman Middlecoff days. He's a football guy. Remember that from the press conference? Yeah. He's a football guy.
Football guy.
Do you remember when Arthur Smith was head coach of the Falcons and he gave a long, convoluted explanation of why Brian Robinson's not getting carries?
Yep.
It's the same thing. So I understand what he's saying. That the load management thing is ridiculous because that's a totally different thing in the NBA. That's where guys are just not playing because it's an 82-game season, and it's definitely, exploited a little bit these days. But as far as Ashton Jeanty, it's simple. He's not playing well. That's why he's not getting carries. He's averaging 2.7 yards per rush. And I hear what he's saying where you can't play a guy every snap. You can't play Brock Bowers every snap. Of course, we know that in football. When you're a position player, you're not going to play every snap. If you're the quarterback in the offensive line, you're probably going to play every snap. But for wide receivers and running backs, you're running all the time. So most likely that's not going to happen. But the key is Ashton Jeanty needs to be that guy. He needs to be the guy that you give 30 carries to. And yeah, he's very young. He'll learn how to, take care of his body. He's a very violent runner, so maybe they're protecting him from himself. But the facts are the offensive line's not blocking for him.
That's my thing. Yeah. That's where I'm at. It's the offensive line.
Yeah.
Like you know what? I tried to, I guess I tried to diminish what people were saying. I'm like, this Raiders offensive line might be good.
Yeah.
No, they were right. Anyone who was worried about the Raiders drafting Ashton Jeanty with that pick was right, because they hadn't built the offensive line in a way that's going to be conducive to his success. Yeah, it's not. The offensive line isn't working out. There's one guy on Instagram. I think I forgot what videos he watches, but he used to be like this, or what he's called. I forgot his tag, but he used to be like a former lineman who watches tape with a lot of enthusiasm. And he pointed out one with Ashton Jeanty, and he's like, I'm tired of hearing this Ashton Jeanty wasn't worth it. Ashton Jeanty was a bust. Not when the offensive line is playing the way that they are. And yeah, Chip Kelly, in a roundabout way, didn't say, you know what, we're not good enough to do that right now.
Exactly.
And by the way, the thing with Zamir White, I don't get it. I'd rather have Dylan Lobby in there. Like, I'd rather have him as the backup. He's speedy. He's fast. Like, I know Zeus is a great pass blocker. Like, that's his true value there. But as just a pure runner of the football, yeah, I'd take Lobby all day. So it's just a roundabout way of saying, hey, the run game sucks, and we just don't have a good enough one to run him 30 times a game. And the one that did get me, though, I think it might have been that drive that he mentioned, the 19-play drive that only ended up in 3 points, or it might have been another one. Yeah, you know what? It was the drive when they were down 10-6. It was right before halftime. Ashton Jeanty, 6-yard run. Ashton Jeanty, 10-yard run. And then as soon as he gets that 10-yard run, they take him out and bring in Zamir White.
Yeah.
Like, that was as good as he looked all game, and you just take him out there. I'm not asking for 30 times a game. I'm asking the offensive line to block a little more, and I'm asking the offensive coordinator, hey, maybe keep him in when he's rolling, and don't just stall whatever drive you had, because had they actually scored when it was 10-6, instead, Gino just threw a couple of incompletions, and then Zamir White ended up getting caught for a run that pinned him back 5 yards. Like, there's got to be a line where it's like, hey, this is the offensive coordinator's fault, this is the offensive line's fault, and this is partially Jeanty's fault, because Jeanty also hasn't been great in pass protection either. Maybe something happened there where Kelly didn't like that, or Pete Carroll didn't like that, and disciplined him for not doing what he was supposed to do, not doing his job. But point being, like, that was just such a roundabout way of saying, hey, man, our run game sucks right now. We can't really run the ball too much.
Absolutely. I think that it's both. I think it's Ashton Jeanty not playing well. And yeah, the first 2 games of the season, he's gotten 30 carries for 81 yards. Yeah. So he's not having good performances right now.
Like, look at that.
And yeah,
going into halftime, especially when the Chargers, I think we're going to get the ball back too in the second half. 6 yards, 10 yards, 9-yard pass, and then incompletion, and then a negative 5-yard run. Why did you not bring Jeanty back in there after you just threw a pass to Zamir White for 9 yards? Just didn't make any sense, man.
No, I'm with you on that. They definitely needed to run the ball a little bit more. I think that Chip Kelly's overthinking it. And I get it. Like, Ashton Jeanty hasn't done enough where he's just a bell cow right now. But that's what you drafted him for. Like, I get why they're mixing in Zamir White. But also, he was taken 5th overall. Mm-hmm. The intention is that Ashton Jeanty needs to be that guy that gets 30 carries a game. Eventually, he needs to be Marcus Allen. He needs to be Bo Jackson. That's where you're going to be. That's the guys you're going to be compared to when you're taking that high in the NFL draft. But it really is the offensive line. The offensive line is not blocking well for him. Also, Ashton Jeanty, on that 3rd and 1 that we were watching at the Athletic Club against the Patriots, he falls down on the play. He needs to be more of an effective runner. Oh. This just goes to show. I've seen a lot of people this week talk about how the Raiders are not giving Ashton Jeanty enough carries. Like, I love Amy Trask and High. I saw her on a clip with the CBS pregame show, and she's like, the Raiders need to run the football. Keep running the football. And I'm like, I hear that, Amy, but also they're not running effectively right now. Like, what won them the game week 1 was Geno Smith throwing the football down the field to Trey Tucker. And last week he threw the ball way too much, and they couldn't do anything offensively. They have no balance right now as an offense. They need to establish the running game. The offensive line needs to block better, and Ashton Jeanty needs to run better. But there's a lot of people just saying this because Ashton Jeanty is the name. So it's easy just to say, run the ball more, when really you need to look at what's actually going on football-wise.
Yeah.
So Chip Kelly, he's in a tough position there. He's just saying a bunch of words. I think some Niner fans would be like, I wish we had that approach sometimes for Christian McCaffrey, but you need Christian McCaffrey right now because he is the offense. But, yes, they do need to run better, but I want to keep running the football just because you have to run because Ashton Jeanty was expected to be this amazing running back, and so far he's running into a brick wall.
Yeah. Well, if there's going to be one team where he breaks out, at least early on this season, it would be the Commanders. Like compared to those two teams, if you look at the stats here, like just statistics wise, I don't know how much we need to believe it because it's only been 2 games.
Yeah.
But the Patriots, they've averaged giving up 58.5 rush yards per game, and they've stuffed 35% of runs. That I think it leads the NFL. It does. And then the LA Chargers. I mean, I think we kind of know this. We do this every year with the Chargers. It feels like where their defense is underrated. But I think with all that's gone on with Justin Herbert, we got to give the Chargers defense its kudos. Giving up 83 average rush yards per game, but obviously that number was significantly higher, I believe, after playing in week 1. But then you go down to the Commanders, 104 yards per game. They've given up 3.9 yards per play and rush yards per play. The EPA per rush is at a minus 0.05, which isn't great. And then they've only stuffed the run 15% of the time, which is towards the bottom of the league. So if there's going to be any time to do it, it's pretty clear through these 2 weeks the Commanders' run defense hasn't been good. So maybe we'll see him break out finally.
I mean, they need to, and this is why they drafted Ashton Jeanty, because they have the worst running game in all of football a season ago. And their offense is not good enough to not run the football.
Yeah.
They have pretty good wide receivers, but not incredible. That's why I wanted them to upgrade, and they tried to by signing Amari Cooper, and then he retired. So I think in order to have a very potent offense, and I thought that they were week 1, they need to establish a running game. And I don't know if that's getting better offensive linemen, but they just need to block better. There's no way around it.
And if you want to move on from this old version of the Raiders and you want to establish them as, this generation that's committed to excellence and all those, catchy phrases that Al Davis used, and you want them to live up to that, you cannot lose to the Commanders. Because if you lose to the Commanders and Marcus Mariota is starting, who was it? Was it Skills who didn't know that he was still in the league? Someone goes,
no, it was AJ Cruz.
AJ Mariota's still in the league. Yeah, some didn't even know he's still playing. Like, this is the ultimate trap game for the old version of the Raiders. And if they end up losing this one, it will be same old Raiders, man.
Well, Steven, you and I are used to this because a year ago it was your wedding. Happy anniversary to you and Jesse. The Raiders were playing the Panthers week 3. And guess who was playing? Andy Dalton. And Bryce Young was benched for Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton ripped him apart.
Yeah.
What about a couple years ago when it was Baker Mayfield filling in for Matthew Stafford? They signed him, I think, on that Tuesday. He's playing that Thursday and went right down the field, had a 99-yard drive to win the game.
Yeah.
How about a couple of years ago when Tyson Bagent beat the Raiders? I'm not saying the Raiders are going to lose, but I wouldn't be surprised. We've seen this a million times.
How about when the Raiders lost to the Colts when Jeff Saturday was the coach?
Well, that's a different deal with the quarterback, but yes, I hear you.
Who was the quarterback?
Well, I think it was, you're right. It was Sam Ehlinger who started. Well, they the whole week it was supposed to be Sam Ehlinger, but then surprise, it was Matt Ryan.
Okay. That's right. Matt Ryan. Awesome.
Well, nevertheless, it was embarrassing to lose to Jeff Saturday in the first place. But what I'm saying, though, is there's been so many times where going into a game that the Raiders should win this game because they're playing a backup quarterback that hasn't played in quite some time. But then again, they lose these games usually.
Yeah. Yeah, they're known for that. So this is one where you just can't. If you want to convince this fan base, if you want to sway Raider Nation in the direction of Pete Carroll and Geno Smith, because quite frankly, you've lost them right now. Like that one game against the Chargers, it's a case of overreaction, and I know we have to look at it as one singular game, but everyone is looking at this. No one praised Geno Smith at all for what he did in week 1 against the Patriots, but when he threw for 3 touchdowns on national television, that's when everyone's like, oh, Geno Smith still sucks.
Oh, interceptions, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah. What'd I say? 3 touchdowns?
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah. When he threw 3 interceptions, no touchdowns.
No.
None at all.
183 yards passing too. 40 attempts, I want to say.
And that's where everyone was saying, okay, like the Raiders suck. The Raiders suck. Geno sucks. Everyone sucks. Yeah, this is where you can't lose this game. It's not a must win, but you lose. Good Lord, you're going to be seeing a lot of other colors besides silver and black at Allegiant Stadium. Can tell you that.
Well, that's already starting, but yeah, I hear you. All right, let's move over to the Niners. They take on the Arizona Cardinals, a battle of 2 teams that are undefeated right now, 2-0. And Kyle Shanahan yesterday said he didn't give a definitive answer, but Brock Purdy is questionable, and it's very unlikely he's going to play. I would say, just my 2 cents, I have no way of knowing which way this is going, but I would think that they probably would have Brock Purdy be the emergency backup quarterback and not elevate Adrian Martinez to be that guy, because then they would have to have a whole thing where they put Adrian Martinez on the 53-man roster. I think they need help wide receiver-wise. They could elevate somebody because we don't know if Jawan Jennings is going to play in this game, and Jordan Watkins is totally out. But Mac Jones is playing, and did you hear Tim Ryan? Tim Ryan now gives Mac Jones the nickname Mac 10, the rapper, Mac 10 Faux Life from the West Side Connection. Kind of like that, actually. But yeah, I think the Arizona Cardinals are a different team than in recent years. I think they're better defensively with Josh Sweat. Kyler Murray's still the same quarterback to me. Like, he could definitely beat you with his arm and his legs, but and I know, like, I brought this up with a couple guys yesterday on the show, and they're like, well, obviously, if you're going to get pressure, you'll throw bad interceptions. I hear that. But Kyler Murray throws horrendous interceptions when he's pressured. Like, what are you thinking interceptions? It's the same interception he threw in the playoff game against the LA Rams that got picked off at the 1-yard line for a touchdown. So I think that there's opportunities to be had for the Niners defensively, but I do feel confident in Mac Jones operating this offense. I think that there's not a huge drop-off from Brock Purdy to Mac Jones, and it's not an indictment on Brock Purdy. I just think that Kyle feels comfortable running the same exact scheme. As he said to me and Copes that, you know, I'm going to treat this game like as if Brock Purdy was playing. I don't think you could say the same thing when it was Brandon Allen or Josh Dobbs. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a very close game. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes down to an Eddie Pinheiro field goal to win it. But I think that the Niners should win this game, and I think that Niner fans should be comfortable with Mac Jones being the quarterback for now until Brock Purdy probably comes back next weekend against the Jags.
There's gamesmanship going on.
Well, a little bit too, yeah, obviously.
I think there's that. I think Brock Purdy actually has a very real chance of playing on Sunday.
I don't think Kyle would say that yesterday just for the sake of saying it, because he's said before, I'm a bad liar. But, yeah, if I was him, I wouldn't say anything. I would have gone the whole week. I wouldn't have said yesterday it's very unlikely. I'd just been like, could be Brock, could be Mac. You don't know. Like the same way, like, did you hear when he said Connor Colby's probably going to miss this game, and they're like, who's going to be your left guard? Then he's like, I don't know. Could be Drew Moss. Could be Nick Zakel. You never know.
I think that's also because he really didn't know.
Yeah, that's fair too. Yeah,
I think that, like, I heard you guys talking about that. I'm like, it's because he didn't know. He doesn't know what to do.
Yeah,
it's like Connor Colby's hurt. What the hell, man? Like, what can I tell you? I don't know who I'm going to start as my third string guard. That's going to be up to the offensive line coach, not me.
Let me just say too, I thought Coach was making a big deal about that, where he was laughing, like, why can't he just say who's it going to be? And I'm like, to your point, Stephen, he probably doesn't know. And also, why does he have to say anything? He doesn't have to say anything in a press conference.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that goes into that too. I don't know. There's probably like betting sports books that have some stake in the NFL or some sponsorship stuff where it's like, hey, you got to make sure you reveal who this is going to be so we can get people betting on this thing.
No,
I wouldn't be surprised if there's that.
No, you don't. I mean, I don't think so, at least, but I'm always of the mindset you shouldn't say anything. Like, unless like it's disclosing injuries, I totally get that. But you shouldn't have to say who your starting quarterback is until Sunday. Yeah.
But you keep saying the thing with like Mac Jones and Brock Purdy, how there's not much of a drop off and he's going to run the system. I can agree with that. But I think the escapability factor is going to come into play. And that's where we're going to realize what the true differences between those two guys, because I just imagine that with a backup guard, Spencer Burford's out, right?
Yep. You're right.
Has he been starting?
No, but he's usually the swing guy when they're in these situations. So they go from
Right.
Spencer Burford to Connor Colby to now, third string guys.
Yeah. In the Cardinals defensive line, just from what I saw, I'm not going to act like I'm some defensive line expert, but they did so much movement against the Panthers, and it felt like they were just doing a lot of stunts, rushing up the middle. Like, I think they're going to be just trying to feast on whoever this third string guard is. And I just think that when it comes to Mac Jones, we saw the one run that he had with the Saints.
Yeah.
But how many times can he really do that? That's my big question going into this thing. And what's that? I mean, I think his mindset is there. I think he's worked on that through the offseason, where it's like he doesn't get too high or too low. He tries to remain even keeled, which is another one of Brock Purdy's strengths. But I'd be very interested to see what that looks like. I think Kyler Murray shooketh by the 49ers defensive line. I do. I think the only way that Kyler Murray is going to beat them is if he uses his legs on first down. Like when he drops back to pass, I don't know what it is. I know he's got like a super strong arm, but I don't have confidence that he's going to just complete it.
Yeah.
Like when a quarterback's in rhythm, it's like you could tell, all right, they got a 3-step or a 5-step drop or even a 7-step drop where they just go off that back leg and immediately throw it. Like Spencer Rattler had a couple of those throws and the Saints ended up dropping them. But like when it happens with Kyler Murray, I don't know what it is to me. Like if he's making a throw in rhythm, I don't always trust that he's making the right decision. I don't know what it is.
No,
maybe I'm wrong on that.
No, because we've seen a large sample size where he makes the wrong decision on and off the field. Case in point, you see what he posted this week?
Yeah.
The fuck was that about, dude?
I thought that was AI.
No, it was real. For the audience that doesn't know, Kyler Murray posted a picture of him wearing a Michael Vick Virginia Tech jersey with a pit bull. And okay, maybe he's that oblivious, but you can't be that oblivious. Like so many people are like, dude, what are you trying to prove here? He had to apologize. He's not commenting that he's pro dogfighting by any means, but why the hell would you post that in the first place? Yeah, this makes no sense. Why do you have to have the pit bull in the shot?
It's the most tone deaf photo I think I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, and I'm not again like pit bulls could be very loving animals, but it's just I don't know. I think it was just as you put it, tone deaf. I don't understand why you need to post that in the first place.
Yeah,
but I'm with you, Steven. I think that's
like wearing the shirt with the photo of like the clown from Air Bud and then taking a photo with the golden retriever.
Exactly.
Same thing.
Same exact thing. Sure. But yeah, as far as the Niner matchup with the Cardinals, I think that my biggest concern is the offensive line. And yes, the biggest difference between Mac Jones and Brock Purdy is Brock Purdy's ability to scramble, the mobility factor. But as far as passing, Brock Purdy is better than Mac Jones. Don't get me wrong. I just think that you can run the same style of offense. You can run the same scheme and not be worried.
Yeah. No, sure.
So that's all I'm saying. But we probably could, come Monday morning, we could be talking about how Mac Jones is a statue and Josh Sweat and all these guys on the Cardinals defensive line are able to get through. That could be the case. I think this is going to be the first big test for the 49ers. Week 1 was a big test. It was against the Seahawks, and I don't think anybody was on their A game yet. But whenever you get play a division foe this year for the 49ers, I think those will be their biggest test because everything else, as far as their schedule, seems on paper to be easy, but you never know in the league. So,
well, this is also one where for me, the Cardinals beat them both times, but this is for me the big game for, or is a big game for D Winters. I think if Fred Warner is going to be in coverage and you're going to have one linebacker spying on the quarterback, and it's going to be Winters' job to track down Kyler Murray, and we've seen Dre Greenlaw do that time and time again. Like, I think this is going to be a big game for number 53, who's on the rise. He looked really good against the Saints. I thought he made a lot of open field tackles, but what's it going to look like when you got, Mr. Krabs' legs running along to the sideline? When you see that happen, he breaks out of the pocket and just starts trying to make plays. Like, what does it look like for number 53? Can he keep his composure and, not hit Kyler Murray if he's going out of bounds? which
Yeah.
we obviously saw him do, which was a big penalty in that game last week. I liked what Robert Saleh said too. You know, we were acting like this defense is back to the types of defenses that Robert Saleh was leading. I'm like, they still let Spencer Rattler make plays, and had the Saints not made a couple of mistakes where they Plaxico burst themselves and shot themselves in the foot in the club. Like, is that a little harsh? Like, is that
man? We're going with Michael Vick and Plexico Burris. Wow.
Well, shoot themselves in the foot. It's the only,
Yeah.
you know,
No,
they're wearing sweatpants.
You could have gone with shoot yourself in the dick like B Rabbit.
They're okay. Yeah.
Or not B Rabbit, who Cheddar Bob.
Cheddar Bob. Yeah.
My apologies to the 8 Mile fans out there.
It was a leg. I do have a friend named Cheddar Bob that shot himself in his leg with his own gun.
I guess it was his leg, not his dick.
Yeah. So I liked what Robert Saleh said though, where he's like, we need to be more. There needs to be more precision. Like,
Yeah.
we need to clean things up consistently. He's like, yeah, we closed out the game, and Bryce Huff ended up getting to the quarterback quicker than any other defensive lineman sacked the quarterback this week. It was like under 2.4 seconds or something, which was unreal. But we need to be clean. We need to be better just in the middle of the game. And yeah, I really don't think the Saints had any business scoring 21 points against the Niners. I don't. I mean, you got to give Spencer Rattler his kudos, but
yeah.
But again, like, they're too good to give up 21 points to that offense.
I don't know if they're too good. I think they have good players. I think they have the mainstays on their defense on each side, where on the defensive line, it's Nick Bosa, linebacker core, it's Fred Warner, secondary, it's Diamador Lenore, but I don't know if they're the same type of defense we've seen in the past that Robert Saleh's run with the 49ers.
Right.
I don't know, but I also you'd say this early on, I don't think any defense is really good. I think the Bills laid an egg against the Dolphins. I thought that the Steelers on paper should be this great defense, but they look like dog shit right now. So I hear you, but I also think there are some playmakers on the Saints. I know that Spencer Rattler has, not performed well in this league, but he had a pretty good performance. I'm not going to hold that against him.
Packers are the best defense in the league right now.
Yeah, they're by far playing the best, but yeah, I can't say the 49ers defense is bad. I can't say they're good either. I have no idea what to make of them at this point. But I think it's impressive with how many rookies that are starting right now that they're 2-0 and they haven't given up a shit ton of points. So, yeah, I would say right now Robert Saleh is doing a good job. At the end of the day, they won the game 26-21. I know that it's 3 touchdown passes for Spencer Rattler, but it's enough to win the game, and the defense did his job. And they came with the 2 clutch plays with Nick Bosa getting that sack and Bryce Huff getting that 4th down stop. All right, let's pick the 49ers game along with every game as we do a little wins or wangs for Week 3 in the NFL. Let's do it, Steven. You and I are tied 1-1 from our picks on Thursday night with the Miami Dolphins against the Buffalo Bills. Let's start in the NFC South, where we have the Atlanta Falcons, whose defense, offensively didn't do much, but defense knocked the crap out of J.J. McCarthy. They go on the road to the 0-2 Carolina Panthers, who came back in that game against the Arizona Cardinals, but did not finish. The Falcons are 5.5 point favorites, and the over-under is 43.5.
Yeah, I'm going to lay the points with the Falcons here, and I'm going to take the under in this game.
I am actually going over, and I'm taking the Carolina Panthers. I think that they got to win a game. I think they're going to build upon what they did in the second half against the Arizona Cardinals. And I think the Falcons are okay. I don't think they really did much against the Minnesota Vikings. They just benefited from basically J.J. McCarthy being inept. So, yeah, I'm going with the Panthers to win this game and give me the over. Let's go to Green Bay, where the Packers look like the best defense in all of football right now, maybe the best team. And they are 7.5 point favorites over the lowly Cleveland Browns. Some injuries for the Packers. Jaden Reed is out for the foreseeable future with a broken collarbone. We got a scare the other day with my man Tucker Kraft having a knee injury, but it sounds like he is good to go for this game. Like I said, Packers are 7.5 point favorites, and the over-under is 41.5.
Yeah, I'm going to lay the points with the Packers, but I will take the over. I think it's going to be not high scoring, but I think the Packers are going to just – actually, you know what? Give me the under. Give me the under. Give me the under.
Alrighty.
Give me the under.
All right, he's taking the under. I am going with the over. I think that the Packers can play pretty good offensively in this game. I know Josh Jacobs is questionable, but he's probably going to go. And they still got some pretty good playmakers. So give me the Packers to win, obviously. I'll lay the points, but I'll go over on the 41.5. Then let's go to Indy, who are surprising 2-0. They are road favorites over the Tennessee Titans. And the Colts are 4.5-point favorites, over under 43.5.
Yeah, I mean, I think even the lines moved for the Colts. I think originally it was 3.5, but now it's moved to 4.5. I'm still going to lay the points with them. I think the Colts are just a much better team, but I'll take the over.
I'm going to go under, and just like the Carolina Panthers, I think that the Titans need to get a win. Different deal with the Colts being at home. And I'm just basing this off of, I don't know, just them being at home and being a division opponent. Cam Ward has shown some magic every now and then, but I haven't seen a full 4 quarters of it. So against my better judgment, I'm going with Tennessee to win and give me the under.
Wow.
All right, then let's move over as I flip the page here. As the Jets take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as Tyrod Taylor takes on his former teammate Baker Mayfield. The Bucs are 6.5-point favorites, and the over/under is 43.5.
Yeah, I got to lay the points, I think, with the Bucs, but I'm going to take the under.
I'm doing the same thing. The Bucs are dealing with some injuries still. Chris Godwin, I think, will not be healthy for this game, but will be back eventually. I think Mecca Ibuka is still dealing with a hip injury. But the Buccaneers, huge victory on Monday night to go into Houston and get that game-winning drive at the end. The Jets, they looked fine week 1. I mean, actually, they looked really good against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Last week, they looked terrible. I think Tyrod's maybe a better option than Justin Fields right now, but I have to go with Tampa Bay. And, we got Baker Mayfield talking again?
Yeah, we do.
Justin Fields were to be Tyrod Taylor on Sunday. Just obviously, your first game came against the Jets against Todd. Just want to ask you about what you remember about playing with him your first year in Cleveland.
Correctly pronounced Tyrod, but he doesn't correct people. No, he's
so there you go. It's Tyrod.
There you go. I'm going the same thing. Bucks win, lay the points, give me the under.
No chance.
All right. And then we got the Houston Texans at 0-2 going to the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jags are 1.5-point favorites, and the over/under is 43.5.
Oh God. I'll lay the points with the Jaguars and give me the under. Oh, it's going to be a terrible game.
I actually think it'd be interesting. I'm going to take the over against my better judgment. I don't know why. Same thing with Tennessee. Same thing with Carolina. The Texans cannot go 0-3, and they've had the Jaguars' numbers in recent years, although they never played Liam Cohen. I'm going with the Texans to win this game. Give me the over. Then we got the Las Vegas Raiders coming off their dreadful performance on Monday night against the LA Chargers. They're going to Washington to take on the Commies, and the role quarterback Marcus Mariota gets the start with Jaden Daniels having an injury. The Commanders are 3-point favorites, over/under 43.5.
Yeah, I'll take the Raiders to win and give me the over because I've just had too many unders now.
I'm going under, and I am going with the Raiders to win, even though I gave you a long list of things in the past, games in the past, where a backup quarterback came in and just kicked the Raiders' ass. Could see it again with Marcus Mariota, but for right now, I have to believe that Pete Carroll has his defense fired up from how dreadful it was a performance. I mean, the defense played well, but offensively, they got to do something different. I think that Geno can throw the ball against the Commanders. Ashton Jeanty needs to get going. I got the Raiders win this game, but I will go under on the 43.5.
Damn, you would have had the Raiders going 3-0 if we were basing it off your picks.
Well, if Jaden Daniels was playing in this game, I would have picked the Commanders to win this game.
Yeah, same here.
All right, then we got the Pittsburgh Steelers going to New England. I just saw a notification. It sounded like Christian Gonzalez was going to play in this game, but once again, he is out. For how good of a corner he is, he does have injury problems. The Steelers are 1.5-point favorites, and the over/under is 44.5.
Just another one here. It's tough to deal with, but you know what? I'm going to take the Patriots to win. I think they could beat the Steelers at home, and I'll take the under.
I am taking the under. I think that Mike Tomlin will light a fire under this defense and get them going. I don't think the Patriots offense is that good, even though they scored 33 against the Dolphins a week ago, but I think that's more of an indictment on the Dolphins. I got the Steelers win this game. I'll lay the points, and I will take the under on the 44.5. This game would have been
Sean Booty.
Sean Booty, yes. This game would have been awesome had both starting quarterbacks been healthy. And now I think it's even more interesting with both backup quarterbacks. We got the Cincinnati Bengals going to Minnesota, where it's going to be Jake Browning versus Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz played a year ago for a game with the Kansas City Chiefs, the last game of the year against the Denver Broncos, but has not played a lot of meaningful football of late. So the Vikings are 3-point favorites, over under 41.5.
Did you just say that this game would be more interesting than Joe Burrow and J.J. McCarthy?
It's weird interesting given the backup quarterback situation now.
It's shit. I'm taking the under, and I'll take the Bengals to win.
I don't know if it's shit. It could be comical. It could be a turnover palooza. I think it's going to be. It's going to catch my attention. And you still got a lot of play. You still got Justin Jefferson going up against Jamar Chase.
Whoa.
I'm going with the Bengals as well. I think that Jake Browning right now is a better quarterback than Carson Wentz, and that's saying a lot because I love Carson Wentz from back in the day, but I can't say a lot given of late. So yeah, give me the Bengals to win, and I'll take the over. But you're going under on the 41.5.
Yeah.
Okay. This is actually a pretty good game. We got a rematch of last year's divisional matchup between the Rams and Philadelphia Eagles. By the way, Matthew Stafford went to Clayton Kershaw's last Dodger home game. Did you know that they were best friends growing up, Steven? Did you hear that?
Yeah. A few times.
Yeah. You've all heard that before. Although I want to say the Rams probably flew out yesterday to Philly while Matthew Stafford stayed behind. That could be a factor in this game.
Ooh.
Eagles, 3.5-point favorites, over under 44.5.
Just because it's home, I'll give the Eagles the win, but I will take the Rams to cover. I think this can be a really close one, and I'll take the over.
I'm going to take the over as well. I think there's plenty of points scored, but I think the Philadelphia Eagles win this game. Not going away. I think it's close, but I think by more than 3.5 points. So give me the Eagles, lay the points. I'll go over. All right, then we got the Saints and Spencer Rattler going up against the Seahawks. Seahawks are 1.5-point favorites, over under 41.5. You're muted. Wait, are they 1.5-point favorites? No, sorry, 7.5-point favorites.
Yeah, I was like, what?
My handwriting's terrible. 7.5-point favorites for the Seahawks.
I'll take the Seahawks to win, but I'll take the Saints to cover it. Maybe a little backdoor cover action, and I'll take the under. How about that?
I'm taking the over. I'll take the Seahawks to win, and I'll lay the points. I think the Seahawks are figuring things out now. Then we got the Arizona Cardinals going up against the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners, despite all their injuries, are still 2.5-point favorites. Over under 44.5. And a little interesting tidbit, the Niners will be wearing white because a year ago when these two teams played, there was a heat wave. And I guess Kyle Shanahan has to tell the league in April that they need to wear white at home. So that's what they're doing now. Steven, who do you have in this game?
Yeah, I'm going to be on my own with this one, probably. I'm sorry, but I'm taking the Cardinals to win. I think Jonathan Gannon, man, he can coach them up. And I think that defensive line is going to get to Mac Jones, especially with all the injuries that are going on. So I'm going to take the Cardinals to win, but I will take the under.
I am taking the under as well. I can see this game being like 23-21 with Eddie Pinheiro having a last-second field goal. I got the Niners winning the game, but I got Arizona covering, and I got the under. Then we got the Denver Broncos at 1-1 after losing that game in heartbreak fashion with the leverage call on Denver. They're going to Los Angeles against the Chargers, where the Chargers are 2-0, and they're 3-point favorites, over under 45.5.
Yeah, I'm going to lay the points with the Chargers. That's not what I'm going. I'm laying the points with the Chargers, but I'll take the over. I don't know. That scares me. The under scares me. Give me the over.
I'm taking the Chargers and laying the points as well, but I'm going under with the Chargers on a short week, and I think both of these defenses are pretty good, although Khalil Mack is on IR. And by the way, it was just announced, even though Dre Greenlaw was a big free agent signing for the Broncos, he is going on IR with a quad injury. He's going to miss the next 4 games.
Yeah.
So maybe the Niners dodged a bullet there. Then we got the Dallas Cowboys going to the Chicago Bears, where the Cowboys are 1-point favorites, and the over-under is 50.5.
God, you got to think the Bears are going to get a win at home at some point, but yeah. By your logic, I just don't think the Bears are going to start 0-3. I think Ben Johnson lit a fire under them by crapping all over their practice habits. So, I'll take the Bears to win, but I'll take the under.
I'm doing the same exact thing and same exact logic. I cannot see the Bears starting 0-3. Ben Johnson calling his team out. Caleb Williams has to play better, and I'm with you, Stephen, looking back at the highlights. Caleb Williams did not play bad against the Lions. There's really that week 1 game against the Vikings, but I don't think the Cowboys have a very good defense. I don't think the Bears have a very good defense either right now, but I can't see both teams scoring enough to get to 50.5, so I got the under. And then we got a matchup of 2 0-2 teams. The Chiefs go to New Jersey to take on the Giants. No Xavier Worthy again. The Chiefs are 6.5-point favorites, over under 45.
Yeah, if it was originally the 5.5, I might have been laying the points, but you know what? Considering it's 6.5 now, I'll take the Giants to cover that. I'll take the Chiefs to win, but I'll have the Giants covering, and I'll go under.
I got to go in under as well. I think both defenses, even though the Giants have given up a lot of points, their pass rush could be pretty scary coming up here. I can't see the Chiefs going 0-3, so I got them winning the game. I'm going to lay the points to the 6.5. And this Monday night matchup's pretty good. We got the Detroit Lions going to Baltimore. Last time these two teams played, the Baltimore Ravens kicked the Lions' ass. The Ravens are 4.5-point favorites, over under 53.5.
Yeah, man. Since it's 4.5, I think I'm going to lay the points here with the Ravens. Lay the points at home, and then I'll just take the I'll take the under because 53. God, I've taken a lot of unders. 53 is a pretty high score.
I'm taking the over. I think that there's offense in this game, and I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens to win this game. I think that the Lions looked pretty good last week, but that may be more of an indictment of the Bears. And yeah, I think this is a close game. I think it's a wider margin of victory for the Ravens than 4.5. But yeah, I like the Ravens to win this game. Give me the points, and I'll go on the over for the 53.5. And there you go. Those are our picks for Week 3 in the NFL. Perfect timing with the music. All right. Before we get out of here, should we do our usual things where we do Jackass of the Week and Pop Culture Catch Up?
Yeah.
All right then. Do you have a Jackass of the Week, Steven?
I don't.
Fair enough.
I don't have one.
I got one, but I'll mention another. I don't want to go down this road a lot. I saw someone in the chat mentioned it. As an honorable mention, my Jackass of the Week, yes, Rockaneer already knows. Aaron Turner, the agent of Jonathan Kuminga.
Oh.
He is just making the rounds, and I really don't care what he has to say. And this is not an indictment on Steiny and Guru for having him on. I think that's a good get, but I don't want to hear from him. I don't think Jonathan Kuminga is not big enough of a talent in order for me to care what his agent has to say. I'm sorry. So, he's playing this game now where he's flexing nuts on everybody and going to try to put the Warriors' feet to the fire, and they shouldn't budge on this. I want to give him a player option. I know there's a lot of talk right now with Steph and Draymond and Jimmy Butler trying to find out answers with the team right now. And I really don't blame Jonathan Kuminga for all this shit. I blame Joe Lacob for not, as you put, Steven, you brought this up plenty of times. They should have traded Jonathan Kuminga a long time ago, or they should have given him a contract a long time ago. To do this now is holding the season hostage. It's holding the last 2 remaining years of Steph Curry's career hostage. Jonathan Kuminga should not be the focus. I understand he's got a ton of talent and there's all this potential, but it's just not worth it with all the headache going on. I can't believe that they haven't done any roster construction this offseason when we're going to have playing games in less than a month. So I will talk about it more as the season approaches, but Aaron Turner, Jonathan Kuminga's a honorable mention for my jackass of the week.
Yeah. Well, also, I think he's just trying to talk up the one client who has a chance to get this big contract. Because if you look at the rest, his most successful has been Terry Rozier. But the others, I mean, you got Kevin Knox, who's now an unrestricted free agent. Keyshawn Johnson, shout out to Oakland, but he hasn't really done too much. Other than that, like no one of note, really. Trey Mann, I guess, who's now with the Charlotte Hornets. But if you're talking about like the next client who has a chance to get the big money contract, it is Jonathan Kuminga. So yeah, going on this media tour, it does more harm than good to me. You know, like it really, I don't know what benefit it has for him just to go around here talking up his client when everyone knows what you're trying to do. It sounds just like a last ditch effort. It sounds like a last ditch effort to try and get the Warriors to flip the option. Like, oh, what? He's going to flip the player option. Then all of a sudden he's bought in. Like this dude has been trashing Steve Kerr for 2 years. Like that's something I was pretty interested. So what happened with that? They just talked it out and they're let bygones be bygones. Like, I just don't think that Steve Kerr's going to forget about that type of thing where you go to ESPN and you say that I've lost faith in my coach to develop. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. And I think this is going to be pretty ugly if he sticks with the team with the qualifying offer. I really do. And I just don't buy into the idea. Oh yeah. If you flip that option, he'll be fully bought in now. Like, no, I don't think so.
No, he has one foot out the door. It's been that way for quite some time now. He wants to go to the Kings.
Yeah.
Like Sam Amick's reporting it. Shams Charania is reporting it. Anthony Slater's reporting it. Yeah, he wants out. And just because he's going to get his money in the player option, that's not going to change things. If he is on this roster, and he probably will be, but if he's on this roster opening night, I think it's detrimental to their success for this season. I really do.
I think it's going to be it's going to be a lot of that. It's not going to be awkward to the point where we're looking at it the same way we looked at Jordan Poole after he got knocked out by Draymond Green, but it's going to be different. Night after night, you're going to be getting a lot of questions about Kuminga. What happened with Kuminga's minutes?
Yeah.
Was Kuminga not, if you lose and say Kuminga wasn't in the closing lineup, was Kuminga a thought? And it's going to get to the point where someone is going to say something they regret. It's not going to be good, man.
But what are we talking about, though? Like, we're talking about Kuminga. Jonathan Kuminga. I understand that Warrior fans are invested in this guy. I totally get it. He has potential, but it doesn't fit with this team. And Steve Kerr has gone a roundabout way so many times to say it, but he's just saying, like, he's saying the right things, like maybe he should be in the starting lineup, maybe he should do this, because he has to have a good, positive mindset if he's going to be on the roster. He can't bite him in the ass. But it's funny to me now that Steph, Draymond, and Jimmy Butler are now, with weeks away from media day and opening day, or training camp, to say now they're in favor of Jonathan Kuminga. They had all offseason to say this. They had their opportunity to say this at the end of the season, to say we want Jonathan Kuminga back, and they did not do it. I think that they're just at fault, as Steve Kerr is, as far as not playing Jonathan Kuminga. And I think that should be an indictment on Kuminga in the first place. And I don't blame Kuminga, because if I was him, I'd probably go about the same. I'd probably do it the same way. Maybe not with my attitude and the benching, or like to call Shams Charania, to have Aaron Turner contact him. And I will say that Jonathan Kuminga has been more of a consummate pro this season, not being demonstrative, but you hear a lot of stories as well. I really do blame Joe Lacob. I do blame Joe Lacob for this. I think that he's too focused on the potential of Jonathan Kuminga when it should be focused on Steph Curry and his last 2 years as the Golden State Warrior, trying to win a championship, than Jonathan Kuminga to me.
Yeah. It's kind of the classic idea of what we get with dynasties, where it stops becoming about the coach and the players, but rather it's the owner. Like with the Patriots, we always talk about Bill Belichick and how Bill Belichick was at fault, and the whole documentary that the Patriots did on Apple TV, making it look like Bill Belichick was the evil guy. No, in reality, it's probably the owner. It starts from the top, and Lacob did not help things, did not help matters when I assume that he kind of forced them to sign James Wiseman, even though he hadn't had much college experience. And it's pretty clear that Kerr loves guys with experience, and forced them to get this ultra talented, high ceiling, super athletic Jonathan Kuminga, who doesn't seem to play well within the team. I think it says a lot that teams weren't clamoring to try and trade for this guy when they had him open for trade.
Yeah. And, I went on that rant about Aaron Turner and Jonathan Kuminga. I don't have them as my jackass of the week. I have Brian Kelly, head coach of the LSU Tigers, where LSU wins the game, and they barely beat, I think it was Florida. Yeah, Florida, 20-10. And then after the game, Brian Kelly is asked by a reporter about the struggles of the offense, and he doesn't want to hear it. Do we have that audio, Stephen?
We do.
All right, yeah. Here's Brian Kelly after last week's game.
Brian in the back. I know you love these immediate post-game sessions, but what are you seeing with your offense?
Stop. Really? Is that the first question? We won the game 20-10. Try another question. What do you want me to tell you? I just laid it out for you. We played the game to win the game. We played the game to win the game.
All right. How about third down then? What is going on with third down?
It's one game. Last game, we were great on third down. You're looking at this from the wrong perspective. LSU won the football game. Won the game. I don't know what you want from me. What do you want? You want us to win 70-0 against Florida to keep you happy?
No, I think people want to know why you can't run the ball, quite honestly.
We can run the ball. Did you see the last play of the game? That's all you need. You just need one. There's a ridiculous questions. And I'm getting tired of it. That football team just worked their tail off to get an SEC win, and you want to know what's wrong. You know what? You're spoiled. You're spoiled. This team is 17-1 at night. 17-1. Give them some respect. How about that? Give them some respect instead of micro-analyzing every little thing. This is ridiculous. For a group of seasoned reporters, that kind of question is so out of line.
Aw.
It's not out of line. It's not out of line. Is it a little too much right after a win? Yeah, probably. But Brian Kelly should be like every other coach in college football or the NFL. If Bill Belichick was asked this, he'd just be like, he'd scoff and be like, huh, we won the game. I mean, what more do you want?
Right.
And I don't blame the reporter for asking this. I think it's a little too much to do that right after a victory. But I think that Brian Kelly and his whiny nature and his high-pitched voice just annoys the crap out of me from, I'm not a Brian Kelly guy from back in the day where he left Cincinnati during a bowl game to go coach Notre Dame to then jump to LSU, pretend he has a Louisiana accent. And now he's getting all bitchy because a reporter's asking him why their offense is not as explosive than it should be. And I just think that it's one thing to be mad at the media, but then to be like, you're spoiled, and then bring up things from the past. This team is 17-1 at night with me. They're not 17-1 this season. They're 17-1 with me. It's almost like he has to prove to the media that he deserves to be head coach of the LSU Tigers. They are not playing well offensively. It's a fair question to ask, but I just can't stand that he's so whiny, and I don't know. He just bothers me. He's a jackass.
That's fair. Yeah, I agree. You can't be doing that.
No. And then the other jackass element to it is the next day he comes and talks to the media and apologizes. And you could say, well, that's good. But also I would say that's kind of weak. You should stand on it. If you think that the media was asking poor questions, then be a football coach. Bill Belichick wouldn't apologize for this shit. If you believe that media member was asking unfair questions, then stand on it. Don't be all whiny and high pitch and mad that these questions were asked in the first place. And the next day be like, oh, I may have overreacted.
Before I get to the game in Southeast Louisiana, I want to go back to the press conference after the game. I've texted with Mike and offered my apology to him for the way I handled the questioning. I think it's important to understand that my standards relative to how we work with the media on a day-to-day basis need to be higher.
Yeah, okay, we get it. Whatever. And I remember a year ago he scolded a reporter for walking in late to a media session when he kept them waiting for quite some time. So I think just Brian Kelly's full of crap.
Yeah, you can't. Those apologies are just kind of half-assed too.
I would agree. Okay, pop culture catch-up. anything you want to bring up, Steven, that you've been watching or listening or reading?
I finished watching Masters of the Air, which is about this bombing group in World War II. It was like the third installment of the Band of Brothers series. It was good. It's just Austin Butler was in it. He was one of the main characters, and he ended up shooting this right after Elvis. So it's like you're watching Elvis in this role, and he's terrible in it. Like I think he's a good actor. He's just not good in the show.
Yeah.
It's just bad timing for him because everything is just all right, boys. And it's just everything is the dialogue for him is so corny. Like he plays a very admirable human being, and a lot of all the characters are based on true stories. But my God, man, it's like so just cringe. Everyone else is good, and they couldn't seem to find any American actors. That told me there's like not a lot of young up and coming American actors who can play in these war movies because a lot of them were English. Barry Keoghan's in it. He played some dude from New York.
Okay.
Some guy, I think his name's Callum Turner, who I'd never seen before. He's acted in a few films. He's from England. Like, and all of them can do really, really good American accents. I'm not saying they shouldn't be playing American characters. It's just like, man, there really is a shortage of young up and coming American actors besides Timothy Chalamet.
In the chat here, Pat H is asking, have you guys seen Caught Stealing with Austin Butler? I've heard good things. People are comparing it to like old Guy Ritchie movies. And there's a Giants element to it where he's a wannabe pitcher. He lives in New York, but he's a fan of the San Francisco Giants, so he's rocking a Giants cap for most of the movie. And I think there's like a reference to KMBR in the movie, but
yeah,
I've not seen the flick yet.
Also, I watched. I had the day off on Thursday because I covered the Valkyries game on Wednesday night, and ended up going to because I'm in walking distance of the movie theater, so I walked to see a horror movie about walking.
Oh, The Long Walk?
Long Walk.
Good movie?
I enjoyed it, but it's not like it's good. It's just not like fun. Don't go into that movie thinking that you're gonna feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
Well,
it's so depressing.
It's a horror movie.
It's exactly what you'd think it is too. Like there's no sugarcoating it. It's really just there's some added elements to it, but it is 50 guys just walking and getting killed if they don't walk, if they don't continue walking over 3 miles an hour. Okay. And I could tell you that I walked home, and that was as quick as I've walked. I looked like a speed walking Olympic speed walker going home after that. Like it's also very tiring. Like you watch it, you're getting my legs were getting tired just watching it.
Yeah.
Because they have like the mile counter, and they'd like fade to black, then fade back in with the mile counter on the bottom left. And you're just like, oh my God. And like how they're still doing it. It's really good.
And Mark Hamill, I think, is the drill sergeant in the movie. He's pretty good in it.
He's good. It's just, he doesn't have many lines. Like talk about an easy money pickup. Like this dude has like 4 lines, and he's in maybe 10 scenes at most. He has 4 lines each. Really not that difficult of an acting job for him.
But they probably got him for the voice because he could do like that old Southern drill sergeant voice.
Sure. But they're really with the amount, like him being one of the guys who's getting like interviewed during the press junkets. Like he didn't really do a ton in the movie. It's like he had a few lines here and there, but it's a nice little cash grab for him. While making a good movie.
Yeah. I need to check that one out. And by the way, as far as horror movies, Him came out this weekend, the football horror movie, and it is getting horrible reviews.
Yeah, it is.
And I don't know if I'm going to see it in theaters, but apparently the biggest criticism is it's just a bunch of substance and no story and really nothing to say. I guess it's critiquing football. I'll have to check it out myself to get like an honest opinion of it, but yeah, it's overwhelmingly negative right now. With
28% on the tomato meter and 58% on the audience.
Man, Jordan Poole, you got to rethink these producer credits.
Jordan Peele.
Oh yeah, sorry, Jordan Peele. Okay, I wanted to bring this up because it's a big thing going on in pop culture right now and just media in the country. Jimmy Kimmel was removed from his show. I guess he wasn't removed, but the show was taken off the air by ABC affiliates. The company Nexstar had a big issue with what Jimmy Kimmel said in relation to the murder of Charlie Kirk. And look, I don't want what we're about to talk about. It's not about Charlie Kirk. I don't want to go down that road. It's just about freedom of speech in this country right now. A couple months ago, we saw Stephen Colbert have his show taken away from him, basically for calling out Trump. I think it's a little mixed on the state of late night talk shows, but there is an element where CBS does not want to get sued by Trump anymore, so they're gonna cancel the show.
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel is a comedian, and he's allowed to say things on his TV show. And I think in recent years, there's been this pushback from kind of the alt-right as far as comedians or just people in general, Joe Rogan, whatever, for freedom of speech, along with Elon Musk. All these people are about freedom of speech, and freedom of speech. And I am somewhat in favor of that. I don't agree with all these opinions that people have, but you're entitled to say what you want. And if you have an issue with what Jimmy Kimmel said, then you're going against your own message. I think it's just, it's hypocritical. And if you see the likes of, I have no issue with these guys, but if you see the likes of Shane Gillis or Theo Vaughn or Dave Chappelle or any of these comedians that have been very vocal about freedom of speech and they have an issue with what Jimmy Kimmel said, then that's ridiculous. I think that people are talking on both sides of their mouth. I think that it should be freedom of speech for all. So the fact that I think it's crazy that this company, Nexstar, has that much power where Disney caved to have Jimmy Kimmel removed from TV for a while. I just think it's ridiculous. So people are talking a big game. It is cancel culture. I don't care what Dave Portnoy is saying. It's on both sides where if you could dig up somebody's past and cancel them for that, but also you could cancel somebody for what they say. So I think it's ridiculous, and I can't believe that the country is caving. Media companies are caving right now with this shit.
Just because of deals. Just because of these deals that they have. And yeah, that's the thing. It's like if the company wants to suspend Jimmy Kimmel over things that he said, then fine. Then it's the company's right to do that. They absolutely have every right to do that. But when it's the government that's clearly intervening, even though they haven't said anything about Jimmy Kimmel, it was pretty obvious with Stephen Colbert. And you can just read the tea leaves with Jimmy Kimmel and read any article that's out about Jimmy Kimmel getting suspended. But it's clear that the government is interfering when the whole point of the government is to uphold the Constitution. And the Constitution's number one, on the First Amendment is free speech. It's like, it's such a mess, dude. And it's a little scary. I'm wondering who is going to be the first to kind of step up, because it's very early on in this administration. And I don't know how anyone can really, if you don't want Jimmy Kimmel on the air, then fine. But you can't tell me that this isn't some government using the power that it has to get people off the air just because they might have said a thing or two. And it's like, I don't get the argument that anyone can have. I thought we could maybe come together and agree that this is just ridiculous what's going on. And maybe we can. I think there's like a small minority of people who think think they have every right to do this. And then they bring up things of the past because that's all they have, but they can't focus on this one subject here. There's not much precedent for this. So it's scary, man. And, doesn't feel like anything's going to get any better before it gets worse. And that's just what's happening in pop culture too.
Yeah. And it definitely is scary. And I think that any comedian that sides with Jimmy Kimmel being removed from ABC, then what are you really fighting for? Like you're talking to both sides of your mouth. And I don't think it's coincidence that the same night that Jimmy Kimmel was removed from television, South Park did not put out an episode. They're planning to, but they didn't. I mean, they had to change their whole entire episode, not because they're caving to anything. They are going to speak out, and they should. And I'm glad that they have. South Park this season has been amazing, talking about Trump and what's going on with Stephen Colbert and how things have changed for our country. And my advice to talk show hosts, late night talk show hosts, I think Jimmy Kimmel should never go back to ABC. I think that Stephen Colbert, obviously his show will be canceled. What Jimmy Fallon wants to do, he's a little more, safe, so he could just go with the flow of things. I would advise late night talk show hosts to do their own thing, go on streaming platforms, go on HBO Max, go on those type of platforms, and speak your mind. Where they, I don't think those companies will cave as much. Because you see that South Park's able to get with stuff because you're on CBS, because you're on ABC, and because they're controlled by bigger entities. Then they will cave because that's the way things are going right now.
Yeah, and I mean, it isn't like Comedy Central. It's owned by Paramount, right? And that's like the same company that fired Stephen Colbert in the first place. So it's interesting what's going on with Jon Stewart. That's the one that gets me. Like, I don't like, it's the principle of the thing with Jimmy Kimmel that bothers me. But if I'm honest, I never really watched his show because I'm working the mornings. Like, I can't watch late night television anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go back and like watch an entire Jimmy Kimmel show. But if Jon Stewart's on once a week, just every Monday, yeah, I'm watching his show the next day. If John Oliver is on every Sunday, yeah, I'm watching his show on Monday. Like, if those two get booted off the air, that's when I'll be like personally pissed off, because that's when those two are actually, they are political comedians. Like Jimmy Kimmel is just a late night talk show host who makes jokes about the president, as has been what it's been ever since Dave Letterman took things over. And it was really Dave Letterman who started all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that the other talk shows tried to speak out against it. Jimmy Fallon did his best, but Jimmy Fallon's like, this is not what I signed up for. I signed up to laugh and clap and
come on, guys. I just want to laugh at my own jokes. What are we doing here?
But the thing with Kimmel though is like, Kimmel seems to be the one who is like genuine. Like, even with Jimmy Fallon, like after the Ellen DeGeneres stuff came out, like you heard stuff with Jimmy Fallon maybe not treating people at the show all that great. But then you see like Jimmy Fallon do an interview on, say, Hot Ones, and he's like, yeah, he's down to earth. He seems pretty cool. I don't know what those accusations were, but I don't know. Jimmy Kimmel just seems to be more lighthearted than anything else. I don't know, man. I'm just like, what the hell?
I've appreciated Jimmy Kimmel for a long time. Back in the day, the Man Show was a great show. Obviously, different times now. Crank Yankers, I was a big fan of. And yeah, when he started his late night talk show, I'm not gonna act like I've watched it. I'm not a big late night talk show guy anymore. I used to watch Conan. I used to watch Craig Ferguson. I have enormous respect for David Letterman and all those guys that came before him. But the art of that is dying. And I don't want to see that go away for this reason. If it's just because people aren't watching anymore and people are streaming more, then I understand that. But if it's because Trump is pissed off that they're making fun of him, that's ridiculous. Conan O'Brien and everybody made fun of George W. Bush for years. And you never heard Bush getting so angry to the point where he was going to take these people off the air. That's ridiculous.
Bill Clinton.
Yeah, they made fun of Clinton and Monica Lewinsky. It's a thing. It's a part of comedy. Comedians will make fun of politicians, and the fact that Trump is just so butthurt about that he has to rip people off the air. Not even him, just people that are afraid that he'll sue. We're just in a ridiculous time right now. That's it. It's a bad place for comedy.
And I'm with Ernie. I'm sad for Guillermo. Like that's
yeah, me too.
That's the one thing I watch with Jimmy Kimmel. It's like always Guillermo at the Super Bowl, Guillermo at NBA Finals Media Day, Guillermo at the Oscars, and watching this little love affair that he's got with Charlize Theron is hilarious every single year. Yeah, I'm with you. That's one. I am sad for Guillermo. I hope he's doing all right.
Yeah, I mean, and on a real level, it impacts the writers and it impacts the people that work on this show. So I hope that all of them stay employed and they leave ABC and all of these late night talk shows get their own platform. I would say Comedy Central, but that's dying. So do your own thing. Say what you want to say. I'm all in favor of freedom of speech, really on both sides, but I'm not in favor of hate speech to begin with as well. So take that for what it is. All right, everybody. That's gonna be it for today. We are going to be back on Tuesday to react to week 3 in the NFL. And yeah, we'll see you guys then.
But not next Saturday.
Not next Saturday. Tell us why, Steven.
I will not be around next Saturday because we are going to a pregnancy convention because Jessie is pregnant and we're having a baby.
Hey,
what do you know? Let's get around.
Oh, look
here.
at that.
Where are we at? Where's the applause? Damn it. Yeah, there we go.
Well, there you go. Now the opiners know, and I've known for a little while, but I'm very happy for you and Jesse, and I cannot wait to babysit Derek Langford. I look forward to that.
Yeah, Derek that name is not being taken into consideration.
You and Walter, you're just so opposed to me being part of your baby's lives.
No, that's fine. We're just not going to name you after the baby, or name the baby after you.
All right. Well, there's enough time to convince you guys. All right. To everybody in the chat, to Ernie1, to the Skills Report, to AJ Cruz, to Rock a New Era, to Pat H, to I think I saw somebody else in here. I can't find you right now. To everybody that was a part of the experience that was Just Your Opinion Man 365, thank you. We'll see you guys on Tuesday. Steven, say what you always say.
It is just our opinion. Yes, man.